Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what's so crazy about this though? Steve, you did this.
What did I
This
do?
whole thing.
You brought this topic
You
up.
brought this topic up. You did
I
this.
just was having a
Now,
conversation
yeah,
earlier,
I was
man.
having a conversation earlier too with somebody, and they showed me an Oprah clip of men, highest rate men are now unaliving themselves, and mental health. Yeah,
Mm,
mental health for men is really bad right now. And I said to this person, I was like, nobody cares. Nobody cares about men.
no.
Like nobody cares about men, and it's not gonna change no time soon. And this is a female, and they got mad at it. And I was like, you gotta understand, they're like, yeah, men shouldn't suffer. I said, men suffer all the time. They suffer.
We suffer in silence, most of us.
I-
It's 100%. Because not for nothing, I mean, I got y'all, I got 2 brothers, I got a couple of other boys that I can talk to about what's going on in my life. Not all men have that. A lot of men are in environments of all races where another man don't wanna hear your problems because he got his own. And some the secret haters, even though they claim to be your friends, they happy that you got problems. So you gotta pick and choose who you tell your problems to. Because not for nothing, and this is coming from a person who I feel this 100% in my soul. If you show your true soul, the softness that you have inside of you, because we all have it. Don't ain't nobody always walking around chewing gravel all day. Shoot 'em up all day. You know, you hold a baby, you be soft. You know, that's your heart. You have a kid, that's your heart, that's your baby. You show too much of that softness, the woman will lose respect for you. I personally feel like if you cry in front of your woman, she don't look at you the same.
Say that one more
And
time.
I'm saying it. I don't give a I feel if you cry in front of your woman, they don't look at you the same. I know a lot of women who have told me they never saw their father cry, which means that man, when something happened to him, he had to go out to his garage, go into the basement, and cry alone, go for a ride, park up somewhere, go cry by himself, fix his face, come back and be stone and be the rock for the family. If you know, and women say, "Oh, show yourself," and the next week they more money. I'm just using you because you're a trainer.
Yeah,
Just saying.
that definitely brings me back to when that dude was. We've talked about it before, but that gentleman was like, really talking about the twine that he used throughout the years, and his wife came out with
30
a
years of
Jets
his life.
joke, and he looked like, I can't believe you right now, right? So,
Mhm.
that showing that level of vulnerability, which is weird, right? Because it's like a double-edged sword, because they ask you all the time to do so. They ask you, why can't you be vulnerable with me? Why can't you be vulnerable? And then you do it, and now they look, not all of them, but some of them look lesser
Mhm.
at you because of it.
Yep.
And if you do it overly the amount of times, now you're even less of a man, right? So, um, fortunately enough, like Justin said, I do have a group of fellas that I get down with and I speak to a lot, and I can show that level of vulnerability. Or if I don't show it in that moment, I could tell them how I was vulnerable, right? We have that, which we're grateful for. But there's a bunch of dudes that's out here, tough as nails 24/7, and they ain't
Mhm.
got that. So driving
Don't
them
get
to the point
and
of,
don't get them drunk because 'cause they're gonna cry like a schoolgirl.
yeah, we've had plenty of those nights.
Man.
But
The toughest man, you get him drunk enough, he going through something, he gonna cry.
yeah, he is.
That's real talk. This dude's
But
spilling ice. I hear it all.
the double-edged sword, the gift and the curse. The
Money,
good
what you got for
headphones.
us?
That's what I got for y'all. So pretty much what I'm trying to say is when a woman says she wants her man to be emotionally intelligent, what does that really mean to you? I'll say it one more time.
All right, really quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
From my perspective, I look at that obviously with the vulnerability to crying and all that
You
other
let
stuff, but
into it.
also when, it comes to, how you parent your child, right? Like I'm gonna pull it in from that perspective. You know, being a father or a son, and then, seeing something that he may do and be upset about, and then having, you know, his mother coddle him a little bit and say, "You're always too tough, you're always too hard, you're always." You don't have that emotional side to the aspect of you being a dad. And it's not that I don't, because, I share lots of love with my son. You know what I'm saying? Because I grew up with the dad, and, it may or may not have came, but I know how I want to be with my boy, right? But I am a little stern, right? Because I need him to be equally as stern. They say that the kids that normally are, messed with by older people are the ones where they have a weak father, right? You know what I'm saying? So I don't need him to see me being weak and soft in order for anyone else outside of this household to look at him and say, his dad is weak and his dad is soft, so I'm going to be able to be like, he's prey to my being a predator. So sometimes from a dad's perspective with your son or even daughter, you have to be a little bit more tougher and have a tough outside exterior in order for them to know that you are there emotionally, but your emotional intelligence is different. That's the biggest difference. We aren't women, right? We can't think like women do. It's impossible. So the way we showcase our love and our intelligence emotionally is completely different. And we just have an understanding. It's like two people reading a passage and taking what they want from that passage, right? If I read something, Justin read something, Mo read something, and we all walked away from it thinking three different things. It doesn't necessarily mean that what we're thinking is wrong. It just means we interpret it differently. And that's where I feel like emotional intelligence comes in, because just because you see it being one way and you think that your way is right doesn't mean that my way is wrong.
Let's then go for it.
So, all right. So, I actually had to read a book and write a 5-page paper in grad school,
He's saying this.
business school people, about emotional intelligence, because I doing a weekend program to get my master's degree, and I was missing a Saturday to go to my brother's wedding, and the professor told me, "Yo, the only way you're gonna pass this class is if you read this book by Daniel Goleman called Emotional Intelligence and write a 5-page paper on it, and that will that will take the place of you missing this class. If you can't do that, you're gonna have to take the class next fall because we only offer this once a year." So of course I got down with the get down, and I read the book and I wrote a paper and I got me an A on it because I don't play when it comes to applied knowledge. Okay. The point is, I was looking at it from more of a business aspect, because I'm not even gonna hold you. I kind of don't use it in my personal life because I kind of don't have time to care about what your emotions are. It's a path that we on, and we moving forward and towards, and it's a life that we want to have. Your feelings don't matter. Period. But when I go to the office and these people come in here, men, women, young men, older women, younger women, and they have a problem and they're distraught about something, I have to step outside of myself and think about what's truly going on in their head. And I want to say, be empathetic. My empathy is very low. It's very low. I have very low empathy for people. I have very low empathy in general because, as we talked about before, I've grown up in a man in this society. And most importantly, I've grown up in a black man in this society. So my feelings by the time I was 7 years old, because I knew that's what I had to do if I wanted to make it in this world. Because people weaponize your emotions against you, especially as a black man, to put you in up situations, call you names, you act a certain way, especially when we was growing up, you were the problem if you reacted wrong. Um, so I used to rip people apart with my words. And I mean, it's a lot of out here who probably think I'm a bully once they learned what I was calling them. But hey, your mama and your daddy should have taught you to read more books, and maybe you would have been able to catch on back when we was youth. I digress to say this though. That's the part of the reason my emotional intelligence is low is because I freaking like, I beat the out my feelings a long time ago. So your emotions mean little to nothing to a person like me. I rely on logic and I rely on reason. And, you know, I, I don't believe 90% of the stuff I see anymore. I don't believe, I mean, I pick and choose what I read now because it's a message and an agenda and everything.
Mhm.
And worrying to me about what is going on emotionally in a woman's head will have you in a poorhouse. And I mean that with from the bottom of my heart. They call them simps for a reason. Honey, what do you want? Oh my God, you're not happy? You want a new purse? You want to go on a trip? You want this? You want that? Blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, she's a trainer or the drug dealer, the weed man. Weed man got hella pussy while homeboy was at work, putting in for the 9 to 5 to pay for the house. And the weed man come over and smash your girl while you working. So for me, what it means when a woman wants you to have emotional intelligence, they want you to be a simp for them. They want to run you and they want you to be a simp. And on that note, fellas, I got to sign off because these
Yeah.
people is calling
Yeah, you
me.
gotta sign off.
I will hit y'all.
Imma say this part.
All
All
right,
right
people.
now. So Imma say this, Steve. Yo, emotional intelligence, when women say that, I feel that they want you to manage their emotions. They don't got nothing to do with you.
You mean that you have to, as a man, put their emotions in front of yours?
You damn right. They really don't want to hear your emotions. It's a way for them to really talk about their emotions and how they're feeling. Because if you dump all your emotions on them, what is that going to do for them? Really? Everything
It's
you're
not.
really
See,
feeling, what you're
we
really feeling. This is why we're good sufferers in silence. Women don't suffer well in silence. They gotta say something out. We don't say half the things
I
that's
saw
bothering us about them because we know already what time it's going what's going to be. They can't handle that.
I saw something that it was a guy and his wife. They were sitting on the couch, and something along the lines. This question was asked, and his breakdown was perfection, right? Because he was saying that, he can't, men don't show a level of vulnerability to women because if by any chance they show that vulnerability, then by a small margin, the woman goes from trying to make the man feel better about what's happening, but also secretly planning in their mind what they're going to do with their possible escape. So when you're behind on, so let's say you own a business and the business isn't going as well as it did, a couple months back. And I am literally chilling on this job by myself. But yes, it doesn't go as well as it did a couple months back. And, her response was eye opening because he's basically giving her a breakdown of, you know, what it feels like to be a man in some scenarios, which is interesting because the truth of the matter is we'll never fully understand each other, right? But at the core of it all, I don't care what my contemporaries say. You got to put some respect on these women's names, man. It's dangerous out there for them. And there's a bunch of people out here that look at women in a way where it is extremely degrading and their thought process on how they should act because they're women is absolutely absurd. And I mean that wholeheartedly. It's just the what is the feminist that they say, whatever. You can call me whatever you'd like. I'm live and direct right now because it's just me on here. Justin had to do his thing and Mo just took off for a second. But I got 3 minutes to just talk my talk. I'm not a feminist. I'm a human being. And I look at women as humans. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the greatest man on the planet. And have I done wrong to women? Absolutely. But what I can say is I still have to respect them in a sense to where you will not harm them in any way. And a lot of scenarios with people, they get in their mind that a woman should be a certain way. No, people grow. It's called evolution. It's not 1950s. We're not sitting here talking to these people or these women like they need to do what we say. Yeah, sometimes in some sense, you know, being able to, I guess, bend the knee to us makes us feel good and gives us, a smooth provo- bravado or whatever. It makes our chest puff up because we're men. But in the same sense, man, they nurture us. They take care of us in the most important times. And for dudes out here that's actually like discriminating and like really doing foul things to them, man, I only have one thing to say to you, and no offense, but you. That's absolutely horrible. That being said, this is episode 9 of Everybody Has a Mic. And I'm happy that I got a chance to say peace to everybody. Please like and subscribe when you get an opportunity. We would fully appreciate the love and the following and the followers. The only thing that we're going to do in this joint from here on out, and something that we've done from the beginning, is keep it 100.